कैसे है पा लिया इस शहर ने लापता था मैं पहले अपना लिया इस शहर ने शोर भी लगे एक दिन की तरह
NDTV World Summit 2024, October 21st and 22nd, only on NDTV network.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from finance.
You are watching the World 24/7 on the NDTV network. I'm Parmeshwar Bava. We've got an action-packed bulletin lined up for you. Let's begin with the top stories we're tracking at the moment. An Israeli attack in Beirut has killed at least 22 people and wounded 117 others as strikes move away from Hezbollah strongholds in the city's suburbs and into the heart of the Lebanese capital. Wafiq Safa, the chief of Hezbollah's liaison and coordination unit, survived an assassination attempt as per reports. Israel's security cabinet has met to vote on the country's response to Iran's October 1st missile attack as per reports. Russia's President Vladimir Putin is set to meet with Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian for the first time this week to discuss the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. Announcing a 10-point plan while underlining that dialogue and cooperation between India and ASEAN are of utmost importance at a time of conflict and tension in many parts of the world, Prime Minister Modi flagged respect for each other's national integrity and sovereignty at the India-ASEAN Leaders Summit in Laos. More than 3 million homes and businesses were without power as Hurricane Milton continues to pull away from Florida and the United States as a Category 1 storm after spawning multiple tornadoes and major flooding as it moved through the state overnight. The United States' lead over China on the Fortune 500 podium this year reflects the revenue challenges facing Beijing's state-owned companies, according to a new analysis. The US reclaimed the top spot with 139 firms on the corporate heavyweights list compared to China's 128. Nadal has announced his retirement from professional tennis. The 38-year-old will make his final appearance for Spain at November's Davis Cup finals in Malaga. A big focus. An Israeli attack in Beirut has killed at least 22 people and wounded 117 others as strikes move away from Hezbollah strongholds in the city's suburbs and into the heart of the Lebanese capital. Wafiq Safa, the chief of Hezbollah's liaison and coordination unit, has survived an assassination attempt as per multiple reports. But Israel's airstrikes in Lebanon have displaced hundreds of thousands of people across the country over the past 3 weeks alone. And the Israeli military's warnings of looming operations have sent thousands more fleeing for safety. Meanwhile, an Israeli strike on a school sheltering displaced people in the Gaza Strip killed at least 27 people, including a child, and 7 women, with the toll likely to rise, as per Palestinian medical officials. Israel has continued to strike at what it says are militant targets across the Palestinian enclave, even as attention has shifted to its war against Hezbollah in Lebanon and rising tensions with Iran. But the military launched a large-scale air and ground operation against Hamas in northern Gaza just earlier this week. And Israel's security cabinet has convened to vote on a proposal to authorize Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant to determine the country's response to last week's Iranian missile attack. Israel's security cabinet is voting, along with the defense minister, to determine the response to Iran's missile barrage. Netanyahu, though, had spoken over the phone to US President Joe Biden and his Vice President Kamala Harris on Israel's procedure against Iran. Meanwhile, I must point out, and you must note, it seems the divisions inside the Israeli government and across the Atlantic are converging, as many analysts have highlighted, with Netanyahu apparently incensed over his lack of direct contact with Joe Biden and a cabinet rivalry overshadowing Israel's security deliberations. In fact, Israel's defense minister and Netanyahu's tensions are coming to the fore. By the way, the Israeli defense minister hails from Netanyahu's own party, but the two have found themselves frequently at odds as Israel's war has expanded from Gaza to Yemen to Lebanon and now possibly to Iran. Divisions inside the Israeli government, as well as between Netanyahu and the White House, are converging at a critical moment for the Middle East, and Jerusalem has vowed a significant retaliation for Tehran's second ever direct attack on the Jewish state. The other big development we are tracking, Russia's President Vladimir Putin is set to meet with Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian for the first time this week to discuss the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. Now, Moscow and Tehran have grown closer since Russia invaded Ukraine, with the two countries planning to sign a strategic partnership agreement as Iran continues to send weapons to Russia. Putin, by the way, has a calendar full of diplomatic engagements as he seeks to evade Russia's Western-imposed diplomatic isolation, including playing host to more than 24 world leaders at the BRICS summit later this month. To understand the ramifications better, we have with us from Tehran former PRO of the Iran consulate, Saeed Tamjid Haider, who's also an expert on Iran affairs. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Now, Iran and Russia have in the last months put aside centuries of regional rivalry going back to the imperial era to, let's say, focus on a shared confrontation with the West. So would you argue that this growing alliance is increasingly troubling the West as tensions reach new highs in the Middle East?
First of all, good morning to you and thanks for inviting. Yes, obviously, Russia and Iran have progressively deepened their ties, particularly in the context of their respective global isolations. So, this mutual agreement and the cooperation agreements between Iran and Russia will not only bother the Western hegemony, but also will influence the multipolar world, which we are, which is undoubtedly a focal point in these scenarios in the Middle East, mostly. And this meeting at the forum in Turkmenistan, which is happening today, wherein the presidents of Iran and Russia are meeting, is a continuation of the strategic alliance between Moscow and Tehran, which includes military, economic, trade, and geopolitical cooperation. So this mutually beneficial relationship demonstrates strategic alignment in challenging Western dominance, especially the US and NATO influence in the region.
Right. But sir, do you agree that Russia and Iran's cozy relationship may actually have a limit? In a sense, their partnership is limited by Russia's desire to avoid harming its ties to Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Israel?
No, I don't think so. Russia is actually playing a very safe game in the region because Russia has also suffered the isolation by the Western powers, and Russia is looking to build ties in the region. They don't. The Russia doesn't want to, build tensions, and in turn, Russia wants to build relationships with the region. The Russia is playing in such a way that even it has good relations with Iran. It's which he's looking which Russia is looking as an ally, and building relationships, and also not to have trouble with the Iranian counterparts which are in the region, like Saudi and other countries. So Russia is playing a very safe game to looking for its own interest rather than concentrating on the local conflict in the region.
Well, the relationship, many analysts and geopolitical watchers actually point out that it runs much deeper than transactional ties. And Russia and Iran are increasingly reliant on each other, not just for their gain for their countries, but also for their regime survival. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us with those quick comments on NDTV.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
In other crucial news, Prime Minister Modi attended the 21st ASEAN-India Summit in Laos. And at the summit, Prime Minister Modi announced a 10-point plan to strengthen ASEAN-India comprehensive partnership and asserted that ties with the regional grouping were critical for Asia's future. Meanwhile, our Prime Minister also met Shigeru Ishiba, the new Prime Minister of Japan, on the sidelines of the summit. Listen to what the Prime Minister had to say, followed by my colleague Condemm's report.
मेरा मानना है कि 21वीं सदी एशियन सेंचुरी भारत और आसियान देशों की सेंचुरी है। आज जब विश्व के कई हिस्सों में संघर्ष और तनाव की स्थिति है, तब भारत और आसियान की मित्रता, समन्वय, संवाद और सहयोग बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है। आसियान की सफल अध्यक्षता के लिए मैं लाओ पीडीआर के प्रधानमंत्री सोनसाई सिपांदोन को हार्दिक बधाई देता हूं। मुझे विश्वास है कि आज की हमारी बैठक भारत और आसियान साझेदारी में नए आयाम जोड़ेगी। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Lao PDR to attend ASEAN-India Summit as well as East Asia Summit. In the opening statement, he talked about how India is closely linked with these ASEAN countries. He's talked about being neighbors. He's talked about being friends in global south, as well as how these countries are peace-loving while there is so much conflict going around in the world. This is a statement of India's commitment towards ASEAN-India relationship, because there is these countries are not only strategically important, have ancient ties with India, but also in context of global south as well as South China Sea and Indo-Pacific. So this is a very important visit, and PM has tried to cement this relationship even further. He has announced a 10-point plan to strengthen India-ASEAN comprehensive partnership. Now, this plan is quite important, and this is also, he has said that these ties with the regional groupings were critical to guiding Asia's future, because he has said that 21st century is Asia's century. So apart from people-centric celebrations such as youth summit or music festival, there are also some really other very critical areas which have seen some critical announcements, like $5 million for enhancing disaster resilience. Also initiation of a new health minister's track towards building health resilience. Now, the topic for this ASEAN-India summit is, of course, resilience that will translate into supply chain resilience as well as connectivity, which India is very keen about. He has also talked about cyber policy dialogue towards strengthening digital and cyber resilience. Now, this is something on which all these countries are very keen, given the cyber scams and several crimes in this field. The joint statement talks about not only cyber but also AI, fintech and other issues which all these countries have been facing together. During this summit, there were also at least two bilaterals on the sidelines, with one with the PM of Japan, the newly elected PM of Japan, and the PM of New Zealand.
Well, let's switch tracks now. US inflation is still cooling, but not as quickly as expected. The Consumer Price Index, a key inflation indicator that measures the cost of goods and services, slowed in September to an annual 2.4%, as per the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported. While that metric shows a decline from August, good news for the economy, it missed market expectations by 0.1%. Inflation in the United States dropped last month its lowest point since it first began surging more than 3 years ago, adding to a spate of encouraging economic news in the closing weeks of the presidential race there. To understand what this means better, we have with us Badri Narayanan Gopal Krishnan, fellow from the Niti Aayog and also affiliate faculty member at Boston College. Thank you so much, sir, for making time for us. Taken as a whole, the September figures show that inflation is steadily easing back to the Fed's 2% target. But, sir, the greater concern, is it to avoid stoking unemployment while reaching that target?
Well, thank you again for having me here. Yes, the inflation has been falling, in fact, quite rapidly. If you look at the last 2 years, from 2021, like you said, from 6% to in the range of 6% to 2.4% now. But on the other hand, you also see the latest jobs report last week. It also showed increase in jobs by 250,000 people, like 250,000 people. So, it's all good news. We have inflation, coming down and employment increasing. But again, like you rightly said, it is not as rapidly falling as the market was expecting. And even the Fed's target is 2%, and we are still at 2.4%. So we may expect the Fed to continue reducing the interest rates in the coming months, as far as I can imagine, because we still, we should also think of the levels, basically. We are talking about inflation. Inflation is just relative to last year's prices. But in the last 2 years, the prices have increased so much that you can think of this as also correction, which means the inflation should fall much more. The CPI should decrease more, actually decrease or maybe increase much more. 2% would be more comfortable, or even less than 2% because of the levels of prices that have been very high recently.
So, cooling inflation, then solid hiring and healthy growth, could it erode Donald Trump's advantage on the economy in the presidential campaign as measured by public opinion polls? What's your take?
Yeah, like I said, there are a lot to be, deciphered by looking into the numbers, right? Cooling inflation is a good thing, but then the price levels are still high, so the people are still worried about that. From a political perspective, that is an important thing, and that's what the presidential campaign on both sides is talking about. Like on one side, like the Democrats are saying that we have eased down. The Republicans are saying that the price levels are high, right? So that is one aspect. And an employment increase is definitely a good news. It cannot be denied by anyone. So yes, I agree with you. But also I think economy is just one aspect that goes into the presidential debates, as you know. There are many other aspects. So I can say that employment is good news for the Democrats, but inflation is not. They still cannot declare victory yet. But it's really it's going towards that.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us with your comments on NDTV 24/7. We will, of course, revert to you for regular updates in the run-up to November's showdown in the United States. Meanwhile, the United States' lead over China on the Fortune 500 podium this year reflects the revenue challenges facing Beijing state-owned companies, according to a new analysis. The United States reclaimed the top spot with 139 firms on the corporate heavyweights list compared to China's 128. But the big picture, while China is still in post-pandemic recovery mode, the United States slipped those chains a while ago. But here's a stunning statistic for you. Women comprised only 5.6% of CEOs at these firms. That's just down 28 leaders, down from 29 last year. The United States is home to 15 companies with female CEOs, and France is in second place with 4. As always, news and updates continue in a moment, right after this very short break. Don't go anywhere.
From the heart of city in Beirut, a city which is scarred by violence and caught between the crossfire between Israel and Hezbollah. A war which started a year ago between Israel and Hamas has now spilled over to Lebanon. NDTV is on the ground to bring latest updates, in-depth analysis, and how the evolving war has impacted this country. Stay tuned for latest updates.
The moment I saw it, I thought I will have to come here.
I'm loving it. An experience to remember for a lifetime.
जानू ना मुझको कैसे है पा लिया इस शहर ने लापता था मैं पहले अपना लिया इस शहर ने शोर भी लगे एक दिन की तरह
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi,
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show.
breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
कि जिसकी सरकार सेंटर में हुई है उसी की सरकार प्रदेश में होती है।
एंटी इनकम्बेंसी को कैसे देख रहे हैं? इनकम्बेंसी नहीं है,
प्रो इनकम्बेंसी।
कांग्रेस आ रही है, भाजपा जा रही है।
Congress is going to form the government in Haryana with a big majority.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you. NDTV World Summit 2024, October 21st and 22nd, only on NDTV Network.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
From the heart of city in Beirut, a city which is scarred by violence and caught between the crossfire between Israel and Hezbollah. A war which started a year ago between Israel and Hamas has now spilled over to Lebanon. NDTV is on the ground to bring latest updates, in-depth analysis, and how the evolving war has impacted this country. Stay tuned for latest updates.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi,
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show.
breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
Well, at least 14 people have died after Hurricane Milton devastated portions of Florida. leaving residents waking up to survey the damage there. Milton made landfall as a Category 3 hurricane on Wednesday night, bringing multiple tornadoes, waves, strong winds, heavy rainfall, and a devastating storm surge as well. More than 3.3 million homes and businesses in Florida have been left powerless, with those in the west central region the worst impacted, while evacuation alerts were blasted out to millions.
We moved a lot of stuff out this morning, so what we had.
And finally, Nadal retired from tennis, while the Spaniard, along with Federer and Djokovic, formed the big three that dominated the men's game for nearly 20 years from the early 2000s. Nadal was almost unbeatable on clay. He once won 81 consecutive games on the surface and clinched 9 French Open titles out of 10 between the year 2005 and 2014. But he was also victorious on grass and hard courts, winning 8 Grand Slams outside France. In fact, his rivalry with Federer, with whom he played perhaps the greatest final of all time, a 5-set classic at Wimbledon back in 2007, was epic but friendly. The Swiss champion, who retired in 2022, paid tribute to Nadal, saying, "What a career, Rafa. I always hoped this day would never come." Thank you for watching this episode of The World 24/7. We'll keep tracking the latest for you. Do stay tuned.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you. NDTV World Summit 2024, October 21st and 22nd, only on NDTV Network.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
From the heart of city in Beirut, a city which is scarred by violence and caught between the crossfire between Israel and Hezbollah. A war which started a year ago between Israel and Hamas has now spilled over to Lebanon. NDTV is on the ground to bring latest updates, in-depth analysis, and how the evolving war has impacted this country. Stay tuned for latest updates.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
To the seat of power, Delhi.
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show.
breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
कि जिसकी सरकार सेंटर में हुई है उसी की सरकार प्रदेश में होती है।
एंटी इनकम्बेंसी को कैसे देख रहे हैं? इनकम्बेंसी नहीं है,
प्रो इनकम्बेंसी।
कांग्रेस आ रही है, भाजपा जा रही है।
Congress is going to form government in Haryana with a big majority.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
Hello all, you're watching Breakfast Show on NDTV 24/7. I'm Radhika Ramaswamy joining you from Mumbai studios. We also have Vedant from Delhi studios. Vedant, a very good morning. In fact, from Delhi, Israel strikes to a discussion on possible ban on over-the-counter morning after pills. We have tons lined up.
Absolutely, Radhika. Good morning to you and our viewers. We have a power-packed bulletin lined up on the Breakfast Show this morning. But first, let's quickly take a look at the headlines we're tracking at 8 o'clock this morning. Israel escalates the Middle East crisis. Nearly 50 people have been killed in Gaza and the Beirut airstrikes. The humanitarian cost of the war unfolds in West Asia.
Maharashtra government's big SC-OBC outreach ahead of polls.
The big political flashpoint in Uttar Pradesh, midnight drama in Lucknow over the JP Narayan statue. Akhilesh says Yogi Adityanath is stopping me from garlanding the statue.
Prescription for morning after pills, reports say government mulls stricter regulation.
A prescription for morning after pills. Well, that's what the government is mulling. Reports suggest that the government is thinking about stricter regulation as far as morning after pills is concerned. And India's first Paradox Museum in Mumbai. Art, Science and Illusions at the museum.
And an NDTV exclusive, rare black-necked cranes sighted in Ladakh.
And Desi sweets with a Videshi twist in Delhi, rebranding traditional Indian sweets as festival fervor grips the capital. And our lead story on the Breakfast Show this morning. Well, the Maharashtra cabinet has decided to request the union government to increase the income limit, Radhika, to qualify for non-creamy layer to 15 lakh rupees per year from currently 8 lakhs. So, Radhika, why is this such a significant move? This, of course, as politics is picking up pace in Maharashtra, and caste certainly seems to be at the center of the poll discourse, with the Prime Minister also talking a great deal about caste consolidation and how the Congress, the opposition, is against perhaps the backward caste, something that has been the narrative that the BJP is trying to set since the beginning of the election year.
Absolutely. Caste is gaining a lot of significance as far as Maharashtra elections are concerned. We know for a fact that the state is going to polls next month. Before that, a huge outreach as far as the government is concerned. This was the last cabinet meeting that was held yesterday, chaired by Eknath Shinde, in which there had been multiple decisions taken. Vedant, one, of course, this outreach as far as OBC non-creamy layer is concerned, in order to increase the income limit. One of the decisions that could be taken in the days to come, a draft ordinance to accord a constitutional status to Maharashtra State Scheduled Caste Commission, also being approved in this particular meeting. So, as far as the Maharashtra government is concerned, what they're trying to do is, of course, perhaps in a bid to increase the vote share, there is an attempt to lure scheduled caste voters as well as OBC voters. We know for a fact that, besides constitutional status to a scheduled caste commission in Maharashtra, this commission had been established since long, Vedant, but it was never a statutory commission. It did not have the power to make laws. They could conduct hearings, but it was a quasi-judicial power. Now, with this, this power being given, this can be a powerful commission. So therefore, this will obviously impact the scheduled caste, the group in itself. This entire commission can make rules and laws. We know for a fact that Vedant, Maratha reservation is another flashpoint. Maharashtra government had not been able to satisfy the Maratha community. They want to be included in the OBC classification. We know that it's going on in Supreme Court. Kumbi certificate is also, being granted to some of the Marathas as well. But clearly no consensus reached as far as the entire Maratha issue is concerned. So now, with this decision, which was taken yesterday, perhaps the government, or rather the NDA, is trying to lure both the scheduled caste as well as OBCs.
Absolutely, and in fact, as you said, no consensus really as far as the Maratha issue is concerned. That had become a huge law and order challenge for the government as well, with massive protests. So, of course, caste is certainly going to be a defining factor when it comes to the Maharashtra polls, likely to be held later this year. But moving now, Radhika, to Haryana. Well, after the big BJP victory, the new government is likely to be formed on October the 15th. That's when Chief Minister Nayab Singh Saini is expected to take oath, and the BJP, as always, is planning to make it a huge show, with the Prime Minister expected to attend the swearing-in ceremony as well. And but all eyes will really be on how the cabinet is formed, given the fact that various castes have to be accommodated. There has been a North-Jat consolidation in favor of the BJP. So how various castes are accommodated, how senior leaders like Anil Vij are accommodated in the cabinet, all of that really is going to be the focus, Radhika.
Absolutely. Prime Minister Modi, along with several central ministers and chief ministers from various states, expected to attend. Of course, this is a big win as far as the BJP is concerned. Let's go straight across to Gurpreet. On this, Gurpreet, of course, as far as Haryana is concerned, all set to form new government. October 15 is when the oath-taking ceremony is set to take place. Take us through the details. And as Vedant had been pointing out, it'll be interesting to see, who the cabinet ministers will be.
Well, yes, we have seen the Haryana government has already given all direction to make all the arrangement by the Panchkula administration, and what we have learned from the sources, Prime Minister is also expected to be there. What we can understand, and they want to get a lot of political mileage out of this huge victory, which they claim they had made a history in politics of Haryana. And what we have learned, they want to do this swearing-in ceremony with a lot of pomp and show, because they want to convey a message to Maharashtra and other states from where they are going to contest the elections, that the people are trying to get mandate to the BJP because of their development work and the way the policy they have been implemented. So what we have learned, there is not a big challenge before the BJP to accommodate all the leaders within the cabinet, because we have seen only the former Home Minister Anil Vij was able to win the election, and under the CM-ship of Nayab Singh Saini, only two ministers, one is Mool Chand Sharma and another from the Panipat, he was able to win this election. So somewhere down the lane, it seems they both of them, and including Anil Vij, will be adjusted in the cabinet, and all the leaders are the new faces for this cabinet portfolio. So as of now, we have seen they are also trying to give a place to the women candidate. We have seen Swatri Jindal, she being an independent, she was able to win from Hisar, and she has already given support to the BJP. So they are also trying to accommodate a lot of women who were able to win the election. So let's see, let's wait when they are going to make an official announcement who will be the cabinet who will be getting the cabinet portfolio under the CM-ship of Nayab Singh Saini. But one thing is very clear, the BJP had made history in Haryana politics, and they don't want to leave any stone unturned to get a maximum political mileage out of this program, and that was one of the reasons why they had decided and asked the Panchkula administration to make all the arrangement. And what we have learned A lot of buses have been arranged to send to the various villages, various cities, so that a huge gathering will be there that will be leave impact on all over the country. So let's wait for the official announcement and how the cabinet is going to be formed. Back to studio.
All right. Thank you, Gurpreet, for bringing us all those details. So massive arrangements being made in Haryana, and as Gurpreet had been pointing out, several new faces, Vedant, likely to be part of the cabinet in the state. Let's move on now. This is with respect to J&K government formation, Vedant. Omar Abdullah, who won, is to meet LG. In fact, NC Congress came out victorious in J&K. Therefore, they are all set to stake claim for government formation. Omar Abdullah, of course, having been elected the NC legislature party leader now.
Absolutely, and let me go straight across to our senior colleague Nazir Masoodi, joining us from Srinagar. So Nazir, Omar Abdullah has been elected the legislature party leader, and now he's all set to be the chief minister. Truly historic indeed. But as far as the cabinet is concerned, what is going to be the Congress's stake? That would be interesting to see, certainly given the fact that it has performed below par, particularly in the Jammu region.
Well, today what's expected, Vedant, that Omar Abdullah may get the letter of support from the Congress. Then he will go to the Raj Bhavan and stake claim for the government formation. Then the mutually agreed date would be decided by the Raj Bhavan and National Omar Abdullah. When the swearing ceremony will take place, it could be Sunday, it could be Monday, but it's expected that tomorrow Omar Abdullah will go to Raj Bhavan and stake claim for the government formation. But before that, Congress is expected to give it a letter of support, because Congress is a people alliance, despite the fact that National Conference has now absolute majority on its own, which is 44 or 46 members after 4 independents. Most they are from Jammu region. They joined the National Conference study and extended their support to Omar Abdullah when he was elected as the leader of the legislative party during the legislative party meeting by the National Conference yesterday at Nawaz headquarters in Srinagar. So Omar is said to become the next chief minister of Jammu and Kashmir. He has a very tough challenge ahead. But the first thing is to, maybe in afternoon, after Friday, because he may go to Raj Bhavan and stake claim for the government formation. And as I said, though we don't know what would be the big role of the Congress, but it appears clearly it is a big player in the government formation now in Jammu and Kashmir, since it has just got 6 seats. That too literally seen as who they have won it on the back of National Conference, because it was a pro-National Conference wave. And where it matters, which was in Jammu region, Congress has actually been able to not win a single seat, the main Jammu region. So that way, Congress's bargaining power is completely finished. So it may get one cabinet berth or the one ministry in the Council of Ministers, but not much is expected when it comes to the decision making as far as the Congress in Jammu and Kashmir is concerned. But it is going to be what National Conference is insisting, that we have a pre-poll alliance. Despite now having an absolute majority, it will be a coalition government.
All right. Thank you, Nazir, for bringing those details. It'll be very interesting, Vedant, to see what Congress's role in this entire equation will be and whether at all they will manage to get any berths there. Let's move on to some important story from Pune. An important update as far as Pune Porsche horror is concerned, Vedant. 2 juvenile board members have now been sacked as a result of bail having been granted to the minor accused. In fact, this is an important development there. They've been sacked by Maharashtra government as a result of the lenient bail conditions given by Juvenile Justice Board. An important development coming as far as this Pune Porsche horror case is concerned, which had led to a lot of outrage, and of course multiple arrests had also taken place as far as this entire case is concerned, not just of the minor boy who is of course now out on bail, but also the family members who are behind bars, and several hospital authorities, including doctors, who tried to switch the blood samples as well.
Absolutely, Radhika, and as you rightly pointed out, there was huge backlash given the fact that he was granted bail so soon, and the initial bail condition was essay writing. That had really sent shock waves. In fact, let me go across to our colleague Paras Zama, joining us on the phone line. So Paras, important there that 2 Juvenile Justice Board members have been sacked. These were the people behind the initial bail that was granted to the teen accused. But where does the investigation stand as far as this case is concerned? Because of course there is there's been this clarion call for justice as far as the Pune Posher horror was concerned.
Vedant, this is a very important update which has came into light because in this entire matter, the judges of Juvenile Justice Board was on radar of the investigation teams also, because a committee was formed to probe into this entire matter, and the committee which was formed to probe these two Juvenile Justice Board member, what they had done, because initially when this whole matter came up, the minor accused was granted bail immediately, and he was sentenced to write 300-word essay, and he was told to work with traffic police and learn the traffic rules, and this was the major point when outrage came out, and people was not happy with the decision, and after that a committee was formed, and now the committee has submitted report, and after that the government has sacked two of the members called Dr. Lakshman and Kavita. Both has been terminated and sacked from their duties, and this is a very important update. Still, Pune Police, Pune Crime Branch and the authorities which was formed to investigate into this entire matter is investigating thoroughly in this matter, but this is a very important update which has came into light. Both the Juvenile Justice Board member who has granted the immediate bail to minor accused has been sacked from the duties.
Paras, thanks very much for joining us with the latest there. So Radhika, pretty important there in the bid to fix accountability as far as this case is concerned, because of course this has also put the focus back on the powerful being above the law. But moving now, Radhika, to an absolutely shocking story from the national capital, the third major drug seizure here in Delhi in just 2 weeks. And this time around, drugs worth over 2,000 crore rupees were seized here in Delhi. And it was absolutely shocking how these drugs were inside namkeen packets. And this is the third such drug haul, as I mentioned, in just 2 weeks.
That's right. In fact, cops seizing 200 kilograms of cocaine, as you mentioned, Vedant. These were inside a namkeen packet, as you were pointing out, this month. In fact, earlier this month, cops had seized 5,000 crore worth of drugs. Cops claim even this gang is part of the same syndicate. This takes total drug seizure this month to rupees 7,600 crore. Their Delhi police special cell busting this huge drug trafficking network, Vedant.
And moving now to more news from Delhi. Well, it's day one of the Heritage Walk, Delhi Through the Ages, certainly, as the government is now pitching Delhi as a key tourist destination, and rightfully so, given the fact that there have been so many monuments that symbolize a lost era, a lost legacy. And in this 80-day festival, the bid is to explore the lost stories of the national capital. All these monuments that you see on your screens certainly have a story to tell, don't they, Radhika?
Absolutely. We have Mumbai Heritage Walks as well, but it's very much restricted to South Bombay. We don't have the kind of monuments and heritage structures the way you have in the national capital, but this is going to be certainly interesting. 100 historical sites part of a Delhi Heritage Walk. Day one of the walk, I believe, today. Let's go to Anushka on this. Anushka, it is day one of this historic heritage walk in the national capital. Delhiites can explore almost about 100 historical sites across the city. Certainly a very interesting initiative. Take us through, the entire walk. Which are the areas perhaps being covered and the objective behind this?
Well, certainly the Delhi Tourism Department has organized this walk for heritage. The theme revolves around fight for freedom. Right now we are standing at the Mutiny Memorial, which was known as Fatehgarh, but later it was renamed as Ajitgarh. Interestingly enough, not a lot of people in Delhi know about this memorial, but let me show you some visuals. You can clearly see this is the whole structure. This is known as Mutiny Memorial, and it was built, on the, let me show you some inscriptions also. We can clearly see that this whole, memorial was
all right, we seem to have lost Anushka there, but we'll try and connect back with Anushka. But certainly very interesting initiative there by the Delhi government, Vedant, in order to revive Delhi's century-old heritage, pitching Delhi as a key tourist destination. Take us through some of these monuments that, Anushka had also been talking about. What are some of the areas which could be covered? Are there little-known places also, perhaps, historical sites that could be part of this heritage walk?
Absolutely, Radhika. In fact, this heritage walk begins from a monument that symbolizes the story of the 1857 mutiny. In fact, that's where the heritage walk begins, and of course, then it goes through various key structures, including, of course, the Humayun's tomb, various other such monuments in the Lodi Garden. That is a very popular destination for Delhiites here. But the bid really is to talk about the stories behind these monuments, given the fact that they have really survived the ravages of time and they've seen so much unfold, and that's really the bid. In fact, the Aam Aadmi Party government says that there are many historians and guides who are part of this as well, to explain to people really what these monuments stand for, the times that they have seen, whether it's Mughal architecture, even something like the Red Fort. Of course, we see the Prime Minister of our country speak about so much from the ramparts of the Red Fort, but what does it really symbolize? In fact, I believe Anushka is back with us. Yes, Anushka, go ahead. And tell us, you were talking about the heritage walk and what it encompasses. Go ahead. All right, we seem to have a patchy network there, Radhika, as far as Anushka is concerned. But I believe we were talking about Mumbai's cultural heritage as well, and there is a new Paradox Museum, I believe, in your city.
That's right. Mumbai's Paradox Museum is where the real becomes surreal. 55 exhibits spread across 15 rooms. This offers an experience where nothing is as it seems. In fact, offering an array of intriguing, illusionary exhibits that challenge your understanding and provide fresh perspectives on reality. Certainly an interesting destination here that has come up in Mumbai, Vedant.
Let's take a look at this report that our colleague Abira, in fact, sent us from the museum.
In today's fast-paced world, we are looking for something unique to challenge our senses. And this place does exactly that. Welcome to Mumbai's latest mind-bending attraction, the Paradox Museum.
It's a space where nothing is as it seems, where things are upside down or in reverse, and the impossible becomes your new reality. Spread across 15,000 square feet with multiple interactive rooms, the Paradox Museum in Fort Mumbai features over 55 unique Paradox theme exhibits and 15 immersive rooms. At the museum, you can experience the reverse room, which makes it seem you are hanging upside down from a wall. You also have the Paradox sofa, which gives an illusion that your body is split in half. The zero gravity room, where you will feel weightless. The camouflage room, which lets you blend into your surroundings. If your head isn't spinning by now, head to the Paradox Tunnel, which distorts your sense of balance, and the Ames room, which creates an optical illusion and changes the size of objects based on your position.
It's been a great response. We are getting viral these days, and yes, all the ages are visiting here. I've seen, we were expecting that the childrens will be here, but no, the childrens and with their parents, with their grandparents. We have also met a number of people who are so inspired, and they felt surprised by seeing all the exhibits.
The museum's design encourages interaction and creativity, offering the perfect blend of entertainment and education. It's a place where science meets art, and every visitor becomes a part of the exhibit.
Are you enjoying the Paradox Museum?
Yes, it's very fun and I really like it.
We have traveled from Bangalore to Mumbai to show it to her.
Ira, how old are you?
8 years old.
8 years old. Are you enjoying this place, museum?
Yes.
Okay, what do you like the most?
Did you like the breakfast plate?
Yes.
It is made for all ages because for an elder person also, because at that time they must not have been knowing about this also. For them also it is enjoyable and for the kids also obviously.
वो पिक्चर थी ना वो holographic अच्छा लगा
Our overall experience was very good and we really enjoyed the gravity room over there.
I saw that.
Yeah.
It's worth a visit.
This is the first time, but yeah, we'll surely visit again with our friends, with our siblings. It's like too amazing and great.
This place is really good, and we are coming here in Mumbai for the first time, and this is our first place where we have come.
So whether you have a curious mind, you are an Instagram lover, or you are just looking for a fun day out, the Paradox Museum has something for everyone of every age.
With cameraman Mahesh Halwai reporting from Paradox Museum, Mumbai, I am Abhi Radhar. Until next time, keep questioning what you see.
Right, a fun place, Vedant, certainly smart combination of art, science, psychology, illusion. This is a first-hand experience that Abira gave of this magic and illusion. I'm certainly going to visit this place, but for now we'll slip in a short break. More updates on the other side.
Stay tuned.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai. India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
The moment I saw it, I thought I will have to come here.
I'm loving it. An experience to remember for a lifetime.
जानू ना मुझको कैसे है पा लिया इस शहर ने लापता था मैं पहले अपना लिया इस शहर ने शोर भी लगे एक दिन की तरह
From the heart of city in Beirut, a city which is scarred by violence and caught between the crossfire between Israel and Hezbollah. A war which started a year ago between Israel and Hamas has now spilled over to Lebanon. NDTV is on the ground to bring latest updates, in-depth analysis, and how the evolving war has impacted.
Welcome back. Midnight drama in Lucknow. This is a face-off over Jayaprakash Narayan's statue. In fact, Akhilesh there says Yogi Adityanath is stopping him from garlanding the statue. In fact, he goes on to say Yogi government's stopping Akhilesh from garlanding the statue. Vedant, this seems to be a fresh face-off, as far as UP is concerned. Take us through what is going on.
That's right, Radhika. It seems to be a fresh flashpoint, as you said. Of course, Akhilesh Yadav, the SP chief, saying that Yogi Adityanath is deliberately stopping him from garlanding the statue. Of course, this is something that perhaps is an emotive issue as far as UP is concerned. And there was this huge midnight drama, and these tin sheets, these barricades seem to have been erected as well as far as that area is concerned where JP Narayan's statue is. So of course the BJP versus SP sort of heating up, of course, ahead of the assembly polls in 2026 and of course, in the build-up to key elections as well. But let's listen to what Akhilesh Yadav in fact had claimed earlier.
देखिए, ये टीन शेड लगा करके सरकार कुछ तो छिपाना चाहती होगी। टीन शेड आखिरकार क्यों? किसी महापुरुष का सम्मान क्यों नहीं करने दे रहे? हर वर्ष जयप्रकाश जयंती के दिन समाजवादी लोग यहाँ इकट्ठे होते थे, उनका माल्यार्पण करते थे, सम्मान के लिए यहाँ पर आते थे, अपने विचार रखते थे। ये टीन शेड लगा करके सरकार आखिरकार क्या छिपाना चाहती है? कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं कि बेचने की तैयारी हो, किसी को देना चाहते हों?
So of course, Radhika, as I said, this is an emotive issue given the fact that it's, Jayaprakash Narayan is considered a socialist icon, and Akhilesh Yadav has, of course, always invoked his quotes. We have seen many a times in his speeches as well, Akhilesh Yadav referred to Jayaprakash Narayan. The BJP so far has not really responded to this, in fact, given the fact that there is a grave allegation that Akhilesh Yadav is making, that he is being stopped by the administration, by Yogi Adityanath himself from garlanding the statue there. So it remains to be seen what the UP government says on this, but certainly dramatic scenes. Akhilesh Yadav couldn't go beyond the barricades there at midnight. In fact, this of course also becomes crucial, as I said, ahead of the crucial assembly polls in Uttar Pradesh, given the fact that social engineering and the caste arithmetic, these have become so important aspects of polls across the country. So that huge flashpoint there in Uttar Pradesh.
All right, let's move on now, Vedant. This is in connection to morning after pills and the regulation that came with it. In fact, the access to morning after pills or emergency contraceptives could get even more complicated, Vedant. Women may soon need a prescription to get these emergency contraception. This could be a significant barrier to getting access to over-the-counter contraceptives taken within 120 hours of unprotected sex to prevent pregnancy. There has been significant backlash to this move, Vedant. Of course, debates, going on as far as both sides are concerned. Many, in fact, supporting this ban and many against it as well. Central Drug Authority saying irrational or excessive use of these pills could have significant health ramifications for women.
Absolutely, but what do really top gynecologists think about it, given the fact that this is an extremely important issue? The government mulling this very, very seriously. The Central Drug Authority saying that, there has to be a sort of a mindful use or restricted use of, these contraceptive pills. But let me bring in my guests this morning. In fact, Dr. Archana Dhawan Bajaj, a senior gynecologist who's associated to Apollo Cradle and Fortis Hospital, is with us. Also, Dr. Anuradha Kapoor, Principal Director, Obstetrics and Gynecology and the head of Unit Max Smart Super Speciality Hospital, Saket. Thanks very much, Doctor, for being with us. Dr. Bajaj will also be joining us shortly. Dr. Kapoor, what do you think of this move, given the fact that there has been, been a long-drawn debate whether there should be easy access to emergency contraception or not? Many see this as a regressive move, given the fact that there should be sort of easy access to contraception. This is something that is a woman's prerogative.
Yeah, but what is happening is, what I've noticed in my practice is that patients are misusing it. They're using it randomly. What happens is, this is a progesterone. So once they use it, they have a little bit of bleeding. They think this is their period. And then they come to us with advanced pregnancies. The other thing is also that, this causes a little bit of irregular bleeding and spotting. And patients don't understand that if they keep having this irregular bleeding and spotting for more than 3 weeks, it could be a sign of an abortion, or it could be a sign of an ectopic pregnancy, which can be very serious for the patient. So since emergency contraception is something which is supposed to be used once in a few months when there's actually been a failure, the condom is ruptured or they've forgotten to use it. But patients are misusing it. They're using it every time they have unprotected contact. They're using it. This is causing a lot of irregular bleeding. They're not understanding that it's playing havoc with the body.
Ma'am, I just wanted to ask you, of course, you're talking about health complications, but what I wanted to ask you is that not many women are unable to, are able to consult doctors in a timely manner, one, and also this could lead to more illegal and unsafe abortions and unwanted pregnancies. That's the argument as far as the other side is concerned. So don't you think it could lead to unsafe abortions, unwanted pregnancies as a result of them not being able to access those pills on time, as a result of them not being able to consult a doctor for that prescription?
First of all, my argument to this is that there have been lots of studies which have shown that despite emergency contraception being available, it has not really reduced unintended pregnancies or induced abortions. That is one thing. And for me, I think safety of the patient is more important. And if they want, because patients are not aware that if they take it repeatedly, they can land up with ectopic pregnancies or they can have advanced pregnancies because they're not really aware about all the side effects. And so it is always better. I think patient safety comes first, and they can access. It could be either a general practitioner or anybody locally in there, but it has to be a doctor's prescription who can explain to them the side effects and the fact that if they're bleeding continuously for 2-3 weeks, it could also be a sign of ectopic pregnancy. So they have to report back to the doctor.
Okay.
So I think that is very important.
Dr. Bajaj, come in on this point, because what Dr. Kapoor seems to suggest is that they are emergency contraception or emergency contraceptive pills for a reason. The usage has to be such as well. There can